Now, to get any of silenced on YouTube is really difficult. Really difficult. So let's give it a go. This is Alex Jones talking about what Elon Musk's been doing. Talks about that he's been friends with Tommy Robinson for about 10 years. I remember seeing Tommy on InfoWars many, many years ago. Before I met Tommy, actually. Probably 10 years is about right. I first met Tommy 2017, 8 years ago. So it's about right. Anyway,
I've been friends with Tommy Robinson for more than a decade, and the man is an incredible hero. And for most people in the world who are just now learning about him today and who are shocked, I would just encourage you all to research his story because it is incredible. He discovered in the little town he lived in England, 14 years ago, at the little tanning salon he owned, that the Muslim grooming rape gangs, pedophile gangs, in just their town had hundreds of little girls from ages 6 to about 15 in sex slavery, and the police were working with them and doing nothing. And he heroically first exposed it. Later, it turned out it was happening all over the country and was massive, and the government was trying to suppress it. Then, it's a long story, they sued him over it. He got put in prison. A whole lot of things happened. And then he was able to record inside the court hearings that, in fact, they were suppressing the truth. Then when they learned his film Silence was going to come out a few years ago, they threatened to put him in prison if he put it out. Well, he put it out, and now it has 126 million views as of today on his X account, but he is in solitary confinement for it for 18 months in a high-security prison that's over half Muslim. He's been put in prison many times before, at least 3 other times, solitary confinement for a year and a half another time. But Elon Musk has really been championing it now and exposing Keir Starmer, the prime minister, who blamed Tommy, as you know, a few months ago when the Muslims were out attacking people. There was finally an uprising, and they tried to blame Tommy and say that he called for violence when he called for the opposite. So he is a true political prisoner. He's emblematic of the incredible tyranny of the UK, where people pray silently across the street from abortion clinics and are given a year in prison. You know, just the insanity. And we need to get Tommy out of prison. He could have left the country. He could have not gone to prison, but he said that he was going to do it because he knew he was in the right and it would backfire on the tyrants. So we need to get Tommy out of prison. We need to restore freedom in the UK. It is such a tyranny. But I wanted to play a few clips from his film. We'll put a link to it on his X account so you can share it and watch it, because he is in solitary confinement for exposing what the government really did, and they're aiding and abetting the Islamic rape gangs, pedophile gangs. So here it is.
But what if what they're delivering you isn't the truth? What if it's stories that are manipulated to make you think a certain way, to follow a certain narrative, different people's agendas? And what do they do to those who go against that mainstream narrative? Those who try to expose the truth. This is a documentary about the lengths they will go to shut down and silence anyone from bringing you, the British public, the truth.
I lost my job over this.
Non-disclosure agreements.
He's a nasty little piece of shit.
Swung the hockey stick over his head and hit me in the spine with it.
Well, it's told Eddie he wouldn't do anything.
This kid was out unconscious already. That's just malicious.
I'm not standing, you're not going, no, because what you're doing, I know what you're doing.
Tommy, I am going to mince your kids, mate.
20 Huddersfield men were being jailed across Yorkshire at Leeds Crown Court for what would be the biggest grooming gang Britain has ever seen. Ultimately, 35 almost exclusively Muslim men would be given 380 years in prison for grooming, trafficking and raping young children, most of whom were known to Councillor Pandore's Kirklees Council. Mufti Pandore travelled for half an hour to rabble-rouse a gang outside the school gates over this playground incident, when within a couple of mile radius in Batley, police have arrested a further 99 men in relation to historic sex crimes. So far, 32 have been charged, including one Ibrahim Pandore, 41 of Batley. That makes it the highest destination of grooming gang arrests anywhere in the UK.
Everybody was exposing the scumbag that did this, who I hope gets severe retribution. I hope his parents take action. right? Never mind anything else. What are you producing here with this vermin doing what he's doing here? That's not Britain. That's not what we do as a country.
You can hear him there describe Bailey as vermin. Words are important when you're on a daytime platform and people listen to what you say. What do you do to vermin? You exterminate it. You kill it. Lowlife, he called him a thug, but worst of all, he demanded severe retribution against this child. The truth was there for the media. It was there for celebrities and politicians to see. They could have told you the truth at the time, before some of you gave over £160,000 of your money to the poor victim, Jamal. Well, not so poor anymore. But none of this was true. A key part of this case is that I reported what I was told. Before my involvement in this story, a mother went online and said her daughter had been attacked by Jamal. I contacted that mother. She sent me images of her daughter. She said her little daughter was beaten by 3 Muslim girls and that Jamal jumped in and bit her daughter on the head. She sent me the images of the bite marks on her daughter's head. I said, can I speak to you? Can I interview you? I rang the mother, but the child was too scared to talk to me.
She's scared.
Oh no, everyone's scared. A girl went online and said that she had been attacked by Jamal. Both of these victims deleted their comments. Why? Both of these victims had gone online and reported this before my involvement at all in this case. I simply reported what they were saying. This is a mental health record for Bailey McLaren. Bailey was referred to Luton CAMHS by Luton and Dunstable Psychiatry Liaison on the 31st of December 2018. Reason, patient involved in incident in Huddersfield and has been relocated to Luton with family. Patient unable to cope with not returning home and has taken an overdose. Who encouraged him to take legal action? He was originally going to sue the school for not looking after him and then decided to sue me instead. Who told him to put this in his statement to the High Court? You see, Jamal doesn't like to break the school rules. Here's the problem. This is his behaviour record. Almost 100 codes for bad behaviour. Truancy, verbal abuse to teachers, physical violence towards pupils, and lying. Yeah, there's plenty for lying. You see, I haven't got all of Jamal's school records. Large sections of the documents I was given were blacked out. Immigration, COVID, Brexit. If it doesn't fit the narrative, you will not hear the alternative view. And where else have we seen this? Where else have the media, politicians, police and social services hidden for truth for decades, fearful of being called racist? Grooming gangs. That's where. A cover-up of such horrific cost to thousands of young girls in towns and cities across our country. And nowhere worse than under the stewardship of Councillor Shabir Pandor's Kirklees Council. You see, hiding the truth doesn't protect community cohesion. It does the total opposite. It undermines trust in public institutions. It stokes resentment and conflict in our communities. Tragically, those who lead us don't seem to have the moral clarity or courage to speak the truth. This story is far bigger than Tommy Robinson. This is about the weaponisation and the politicisation of these buildings. Court buildings across the West. The Royal Courts of Justice, ironically named. These buildings have been weaponised and used against members of the public to destroy them if they speak out.
Tommy Robinson is a political prisoner in the UK in solitary confinement for violating a court order and releasing his film Silenced that exposes how the government has been aiding and abetting Islamic child kidnapping, sex ring, pedophile networks. The Asian grooming gangs, as they're called, they're really Muslim grooming gangs. He's the man first to expose it 14 years ago, and now he is in solitary confinement because Keir Starmer is a tyrant and a criminal.
So, if you want to watch the whole documentary, go on to X, go on to Tommy's channel. It's almost got 126 million views now. Since Elon Musk has gone viral, he's added 15... He's added about 40 million views in 36 hours. Less than that. The power of Elon Musk. I am thinking about visiting Tommy myself. He's in prison in Milton Keynes. It's very strict there. It's a category B, solitary confinement. I know a journalist who's been there recently to see Tommy, and it was very strict. 2 screws, no electronics, of course, but they can't ban pen and paper, can they? So you could certainly take pen and paper in with certain questions and tell Tommy certain things, and I'm sure he can elaborate. But I think you've got to be careful. You're not allowed to say certain things he says either. But I think he would appreciate the visit of any of us. Any of us. Need some support. Hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button and share.